From the Central Valley in California, we're in beautiful downtown Fresno, where a new sensation is taking over this town. The upstart Fresno FC, unbeaten in their last 4 in their inaugural season. They take on a struggling but dangerous Tulsa Roughnecks side in this first time ever Western Conference matchup. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Jordan Angeli, my name is Evan Weston. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Wednesday evening with us. And we see a Tulsa side that just rescued their first point in their last game. They're still winless on the year, Jordan.
And you mentioned this in the open, Evan, is that this is a dangerous team. They have opportunities going forward. Sometimes the last thing to click when you're a team who's developing and trying to figure out that chemistry is the final third. And Tulsa's looking to just sharpen those things going into tonight's match.
They have a couple of reinforcements. We'll get into that as we get into the game. Meanwhile, though, Fresno, they've had the end product since the start, really. They have not been shut out once, and Juan Pablo Caffa, their Argentine captain, has led them to some clutch goals.
You got to love having Juan Pablo Caffa on your team. 33 years old. Coach says that he plays like an 18-year-old out there. So much passion, leading this squad and trying to figure out the chemistry. It's a new organization, but they haven't lacked goals going forward, and just the creativity has been good from the get-go for this Fresno FC squad.
The efficiency as well. You saw 3 goals in their last 7 shots. And even though they haven't led a ton, although more than Tulsa have, they're getting the end product when it matters, and it's getting them points.
I think if you're Fresno FC, the thing that sticks out most from these stats is the time shut out, 0. They have gotten on the board every single game. So maybe a little bit tighter defensively if you're Fresno. If you're Tulsa, you got to get some more energy going forward and figure out how to get the ball in the back of the net.
Going to be a fun one tonight. A lot of lessons to be learned early in the season as both teams jockey for position in a packed Western Conference. It's the Foxes and the Roughnecks from the Chuck, and it's coming up next. Welcome back to Chuck Chansey Park in Fresno, California. You see the Foxes and the Roughnecks getting ready to start this one. A Western Conference matchup, the first time ever these two teams have met. We'll take a look at the starting lineups. First for Tulsa, 3 at the back for the second straight game for David Baudril.
And you're looking for goals if you're Tulsa Roughnecks, making a few changes, bringing Hollinger, Janez in, and then Rivas is a player who's got the only goals of the season, so look for those two to kind of figure out what's going to happen for them going forward.
Little note for them, too. Stephen Cleveland, first time starting this year in goal Four in the back again for Fresno after injuries forced them to three at the back. They've got their left back, Alex Cooper, back for tonight's game. Which
is great. Cooper with a goal on his name for this season. And we talked about Kaffa going forward, but Bustamante, he's a fun central forward to watch. It should be cool to see Fresno go forward and see what they can do in attack.
28-year-old from Peru in his first professional season in his late 20s. He's an incredible story. Tulsa and Fresno just about set for kick. So we see the Foxes in their home blues. This is actually their third alternate kit. Their regular home kit is light blue, so they're playing in the navies tonight. Tulsa, meanwhile, love that white and orange look. It's kind of that southwestern kind of look. You see the Houston Dynamo have it. And
I'm always up for any team that's other than blue or red. I feel like there's so much blue and so much red.
So much blue and
when
red.
anything's different, I'm down for it. So I like the orange and the white as well.
There is not enough orange in soccer.
Or the highlighter pink we see with Las Vegas now.
That's right. Well, no, they are certainly changing the game, and well, they're off to a flying start as well. They beat this Fresno team and are the only team this year that's beaten Fresno, unbeaten in their last four.
Coach Adam Smith told us, though, if they would have had a few more minutes in that game, he thought that his team was on pace to get a few more goals, really pushing towards the end of that match.
Well, he's not wrong. They had 61% of the possession in that game. They were down 3-0 on a couple of breakaway goals and came back to 3-2 and very nearly were able to equalize. Fresno has had the possession advantage in all three of their home games this season and will likely look to be on the ball again tonight, although they have become a lot more efficient over the course of the season. Joaquin Rivas in the center circle, along with the center forward, Fernando Arce. And we are underway in Fresno. It's the Foxes and the Roughnecks. Tulsa looking for their first win of the year. Fresno looking to continue their good form. 4 straight unbeaten for Los Zorros. And we're not exactly sure, based on the way that these two coaches have kind of changed things up, what exactly the formation and the plan is. So we're going to be looking for that early in this game, Jordan, to see exactly what both Adam Smith and David Vaudreuil are doing tactically.
I think one of the things that's going to affect what they're doing tactically, especially for Tulsa, you know, Fresno used to it, but a very narrow field here with playing inside the parameters of this baseball stadium. It should be interesting to see how a team like Tulsa just adjusts. You know, you're coming into a new pitch, you've never played here before, and just not a lot of width there.
Tulsa does have the advantage, like you said, as we get a foul on Fresno, of playing in a baseball stadium themselves. They're actually owned by a baseball team. The Tulsa Drillers, a AA affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers, they own Tulsa. And so the Roughnecks are certainly used to these dimensions, more so than perhaps other opponents that come in and play here. So maybe an advantage to the roadside.
That doesn't hurt, right? Still adjustments. Your pitch is probably a little bit different than an opponent's. You know, your dimensions aren't always exactly the same. So just interesting to see how Tulsa tries to set the pace, especially for them early on, right? They probably want to come in here with some energy. They're needing points. They're needing something different to happen offensively in order for them to get that first win of the season.
Yeah, not only winless, but scoreless in 3 of their 4 this year. They're 1 point coming in a 0-0 draw 2 weeks ago. That was their last game against Portland Timbers 2. We got a throw here for Fresno. It's Cooper, the Liverpool Academy product for the Foxes. Both teams settling into the game. And again, we know this much. It's 3 at the back for Tulsa and 4 at the back for Fresno as the Foxes get Cooper, their left back, returning to the side from his 1-game layoff for injury. Both of these teams with more than a week off coming in. Here's a break for Arce. And Tulsa has an overlapping runner in Rivas. Ball squeezes through to him. He's offside. And it's a free kick for Fresno. But that's what you want to see from Tulsa, right? They're trying to open things up.
Absolutely. Arce does a good job of holding the ball. He had no one in front of him. He had to keep possession. And then Rivas, sometimes when you see the line there and you know that you can get him behind, you're just a step or two too anxious, especially at the beginning of the game. A lot of energy flowing, and Rivas just runs himself offside. But if you're Tulsa, good to see not only Rivas going through, but numbers in the box trying to get on the end of a cross if he would have been onside.
Kyle Rainish, the MLS veteran, driving the goal kick, and it's right back to the Roughnecks, who appear to be at least early on, settling into a little bit of possession here. Another good sign for them on the road, particularly in United States soccer and in the USL where there's so much travel. It's just different in terms of how hard it is to win on the road. And Tulsa, only one road game this year. It was a loss in their opener at the Oklahoma City Energy in their local derby. A 1-0 defeat to their arch rivals. Tulsa going route one. It's a bit far for Paris G. It'll be a Fresno throw.
Thank you to all Ball Kids sponsor Premier Valley Bank. Tonight's Ball Kids are from Valley United.
Both teams sort of in a feeling out process here.
And I think it's going to take a little bit of adjustment. One of the things you mentioned about USL in general is a lot of games, but a lot of turnover too. So these squads are still trying to figure out who they are, right? Quick preseason, then you get into season and you're playing games right away, and you're playing a lot of games. So I think, you know, the pace so far, both teams trying to stretch each other out. There's not a lot of width, right? I already mentioned that. So the space maybe is going to be in behind, which you see Tulsa trying to chip some balls in behind, see if they can get Fresno turning back towards where they want to go. So, you know, the pace, I think, so far is what I expect, and just hard to settle in. The first 10 minutes of games usually back and forth, neither team really getting a good stint of possession yet.
You do see Tulsa trying those route one balls, trying to get somebody free. And you mentioned turnover. Well, forget turnover. Fresno's a brand new team. They're all together for the first time. And what's interesting is their captain, Juan Pablo Caffa, who we've talked about right off the top of the broadcast. He was with Tulsa last year. He was their best player as their midfield engine. He scored 9 goals for the Roughnecks as they made their first playoff appearance in franchise history. Were unable to retain him. He goes to Fresno to become their captain, wear the armband for Adam Smith. And so playing against his former club, always an emotional time.
It is. Your eyes, you definitely circle that one on the calendar. You're excited for it.
Long ball, Arce. Rivas played off the ball by Del Campo. And Fresno headed back the other way. And Fresno in their alternate blue kits tonight. Tulsa in the road whites. Ball played out a little bit hard by Ugarte. Throw in for Fresno. Both teams just kind of smelling out the game so far. Tulsa looking for their first win of the year, and another chance here for the Roughnecks to get some movement going. Ball forward for G. Into Rivas. He's got the 2 goals this year. Rivas with some fancy footwork, but he can't get past the final man, and Rainish dives on top of it.
Del Campo with some good defending there as Rivas was trying to shimmy shake past him. Is good going forward for Tulsa. They're getting numbers around the ball. These short passes through the midfield. It's making the midfielders of Fresno shift, and then they're opening up little gaps.
Caffa with a takeaway for Fresno. And a nice line shifting ball through there, and Caffa gets on top of the ball from Bustamante. It's Caffa. Whipped in, headed out. Fresno's first quarter chance of the game, and then a foul on Juan Pablo Caffa, the La Liga veteran. He played 33 games for Real Betis in the Spanish First Division, over 100 games in the Second Division in Spain. He's played in UEFA Cup matches, and now finds himself on the tail end of his career, still with a ton to offer for Fresno FC. Here's Rivas for Tulsa, and Cooper, the Liverpool product, takes it away. Throw in for Fresno, rather. Last touch by the Roughnecks.
And going back to Caffa, I mean, who else would you want to captain your squad? The experience that he has, especially when you're pulling together a brand new team, right? You want someone who can be calm under pressure, who knows what it's like to be in these big situations and have to show up day in and day out. So he's really leading this team and doing so well at the beginning. Adam Smith, coach, has talked about just how integral he has been in the first few months here with Fresno.
His nickname is El Violinista de Viaducto, the violinist of the viaduct. And when he scores a goal, sometimes he'll play an imaginary violin as his celebration.
I was going to say, it's not quite a nickname. It's a little bit longer than a nickname, but I get it now. I get it.
We'll go with Violinista as a shorthand.
I love that. That's great.
Cesares. Out wide, Beto Navarro. Played center back in a 3-man back line for Fresno in their last game against St. Louis. He's back at right back tonight. Fox is on the move. Kaffa with a long-range bomb, and it's over the bar. That, from about 35 yards out, if not more, is technically our first shot of the game, and it'll be a goal kick for the new keeper, Stephen Cleveland.
One of the things I'm noticing about Fresno is because the field is a little bit longer than it is wide, they're always looking to find that higher player, but then there's no one in behind. If Kaffa has someone to lay the ball back to, and the same before that even too, when Fresno gets the ball on the far side, there's no deeper runner from the midfield trying to get the layoff and then play the higher player. Instead, everybody's trying to turn, face up, and then time is wasted, and the Tulsa team can close those gaps, right? So if I'm Fresno, right away, I'm trying to get one of my midfielders to just tuck in behind the front runners, see if they can lay the ball off, and then see if gaps open up in the back line that I can slot the ball through. Well,
too, Jordan, we've talked about Tulsa's struggles offensively as Kaffa unable to get on top of a breakaway opportunity. Defensively, they gave up 4 goals late in the game against Orange County when they were down a man and then down 2 men. Other than that, their defensive record is pretty good. They are not a team that gets broken down all that easily.
And their coach talks about that. He's happy with the way that they're playing defensively. They're not giving up that many goals. It's just how do they figure out how to move that up the field, right, and be productive in the attacking third as well.
Free kick for Danny Barrera, the 28-year-old midfielder from Columbia by way of Thousand Oaks, California. Whips in a free kick, and almost Bustamante getting on the other end of it, but it doesn't touch anybody, and Cleveland will rocket it away again. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Cleveland to bomb it away. He's on loan from the Chicago Fire. Was the 26th overall pick of the Fire last year. Spent a good amount of time backing up Matt Lampson, but is back out on loan as he was last season. Graduate of Dartmouth and then spent his collegiate years at the University of Louisville for grad school. He'll be tested here. Verhoeven, the 18-year-old, with an interception in the Whitecaps Academy product. Oh, it's taken away from behind. Decent opportunity there for Verhoeven, but maybe took him a little bit too long to find somebody to get the ball to.
And at that point, there's so many numbers centrally for Tulsa. You have to spray the ball wide and use as much width as you can. But Verhoeven, he's tricky, right? He steps into those seams right when he needs to, and I like what I see from the youngster so far.
On the ball again, Cesares. They're looking for Bustamante, and intercepted cleanly by Ugarte for Tulsa. Roughnecks had a good spell of possession the first 3 or 4 minutes. It's been Fresno's game since. And here they come again. Renato Bustamante, the Peruvian. And Los Oros can get numbers forward. Here's Ribeiro. Bustamante for Kaffa. Kaffa, he was looking for that runner again, and just a little bit of a timing issue right now for Fresno.
And at the beginning of that build-up, Barrera did exactly what I was saying, got underneath Bustamante, got the layoff, and then it allowed Bustamante to open up and try to slip the seam there. I think Kaffa needs the same thing. He's a good target player. He's so tricky that they're going to know that he wants to turn and face. So if he can lay the ball off, he might have more opportunities than opening up on a little spin turn and seeing if he can get the ball through.
Fresno and Tulsa 0-0 through 12 minutes. Fresno unbeaten in their last 4. They're looking to continue a great run of form to begin their franchise's history. Del Campo has Ribeiro. Cesares out wide for Cooper, the left back from Birmingham, England. And Cooper with a lot of green grass in front of him. Sprays out wide, Verhoeven. Cooper again. Cooper flicks in front, headed away. That was Munoz who got on the end of it for Tulsa. Kaffa out wide. Nobody on the other end of it. And another goal kick for Stephen Cleveland. So Fresno starting to develop a little bit in the attacking third, but just not coming together just yet to create a real chance.
And for me, to be expected, we're now past 10 minutes. Typically, it takes about 10 minutes for a game to really settle in, and that's a pretty generic thing to say. You know, there's games where you have goals within the first 10 minutes and teams don't come out, but both these teams, we knew were going to come out. They both want another win. Tulsa coming in needing a win, but then you have Fresno at home. They're in a good form, right? They haven't lost in 4 games, so we knew that this was going to be a tough match from the get-go.
Cesares fouls Fernando Arce, the 22-year-old from Chula Vista, California. Arce's father, also named Fernando, 47 caps for the Mexican national team.
And they're just a little sandwich foul. I think an extra elbow caught the face of Arce. Not a bad family to come from.
No, Arce's father was 15 when Fernando Jr. was born and was raised in the shadow of his father's incredible career. Arce, product of his father's team's youth academy club Tijuana in Liga MX. He's on loan here from that club. Here he is on top of the ball after a giveaway. Arce misses wide, taking a shot from distance. And Rainish will have the goal kick for Fresno. Live from Chuck Chansey Park in the Central Valley of California. The new team for Fresno, founded by Frank Yallop in part, the former Ipswich Town star, and then a 2-time MLS Cup winning head coach with San Jose in the early 2000s. This is his first ever time as in a role in the game other than playing and coaching, but to have a guy of Frank Yallop's caliber behind a team, what a start.
I ask Coach Adam Smith about that. How nice is it to build a team with Frank Yallop with all the experience and contacts he has, and he said it was a pretty fun process. Different for him, you know, a different role, but they really enjoyed putting this squad together.
Foul on the Foxes. And Tulsa finding their way back into the game in the last couple of minutes, and Arce's kind of been the conduit for that. Fresno has had a PDL team the last several years in the Fresno Fuego, who are now the Fresno Foxes U23s. And they will play this summer, but it's a pro team now. That's the message that head coach Adam Smith and Frank Yallop and this organization wants to send, and they are here and they are playing very, very well in their first pro season.
In a town that loves football, they love soccer, and a little ode to that, the Fire Squad is their supporters group.
Maidana header on and saved by Rainish. That ball got in for the center back, Claudio Munoz, and Rainish was there.
This is a good bent ball into a gap, and there's no one covering Tulsa there.
Yeah, that was Adrian Jusino who made the headed attempt, but just didn't get his head wrapped enough around the ball.
And those are the moments, especially, you know, early in the season. Free kicks and dead balls are so lethal, and you have to be super focused in those moments because those can change games, right? And a little turn off and you miss a mark, and then you're already down 1-0. When if you're Fresno, you've had a good bout of possession here as of late, and that's not the way you want to go down. You want to make this Tulsa team break you down from top to bottom, right? Not just score on a free kick.
G throwing in, and no foul given as Maidana went down. Del Campo had him from behind, and the assistant referee not impressed. Throw in for Alex Cooper and Fresno.
I like it. It's early on. Maybe just let them play. It hasn't been dirty at all. Everything's been pretty clean, so I like that decision from the referee.
And now Maidana with a little bit of a shove, and the foul is awarded this time. Free kick for Alex Cooper. Well, Santiago Maidana getting his first start in the USL here tonight. He's only played 54 minutes in 2 games and looking to take the most of the opportunity, I'm sure.
That's where you learned, if you weren't the older child when you were growing up, when you retaliate, you're the one that gets in trouble. And He must have not learned that lesson like I did when I was younger.
I was the older child, and I found that the younger child was often the instigator. But that was just my experience. G trying to open things up for Rivas here, and Cooper, who's been on the ball quite a bit for Fresno, doing well to settle it down.
And to be expected for the size of the pitch, they're going to use as much width as possible, use those outside backs.
Kaffa flicking forward. Here's Verhoeven, and well done by Jusinho to run in front of it, but he gives it right back. Ribeiro for Fresno. Kaffa with a little flick through to Barrera. Left foot shot. Save Cleveland. First real test of the night for the Chicago Fire loanee, and he'll get to kick it away.
Pretty easy there for Cleveland in the end, but this is exactly the play that I was talking about leading up to it. Playing into the target player, getting players around him, and Barrera able to get a strike on goal.
Look at that cute little pass there by Kaffa.
A little outside of the foot flick. You know, those are the seams that you see when you have the experience like he does. In that 10 position, he likes.
Rivas running on, and Reinisch screened off by his own center back, Ramon Martin del Campo, with nice situational awareness there from the 24-year-old UC Davis graduate. And Reinisch will kick it away. Reinisch, best known as Nick Ramondo's very seldom used backup with Real Salt Lake under Jason Kreis for 6 years out in Utah. Spent last year as Brad Guzan's second with Atlanta United. What an expansion season they had last year. Talk of American soccer.
They just keep going, right? They just keep getting better and better.
I don't know if you got to see the game they had with New York City this weekend. What a game. Just the quality of American soccer right now is just so high, and it just keeps getting better.
I agree. I think it's the best time to be in the soccer scene here in the U.S. People are getting excited about the game in general, and it makes us old-time junkies of the game really excited about how it's progressing.
And this second division, along with it, the tide keeps rising on it too. You see teams like Fresno and Las Vegas and all these new expansion sides kind of free up Kaffa there. Tulsa deals with it nicely, and Maidana settles things down for the Roughnecks. But you've got all these new teams, and the quality of the league just keeps getting better and better.
It is. There's so many quality players, and that's why I love calling games in USL, because you get to see these players who, you know, week in and week out have really good performances.
Kaffa forward through Bustamante. Fresno getting numbers forward, and Bustamante couldn't quite see through the referee. And a little bit of a break there for Tulsa.
He puts his hand up right away and says, "Sorry, team. Didn't see that runner there."
Your exclusive stories directly from the USL's
David Barry, the referee tonight. Fresno will look to build from the back. 21 minutes in. We remain scoreless. Fresno has had the better end of it so far, but Tulsa certainly not getting outplayed too badly or anything like that. Verhoeven beginning the run for Fresno. Kaffa, Verhoeven, little flick, Barrera. Fresno into Verhoeven, and he just had a heavy first touch betray him, and Tulsa able to clear.
If he plays that a little bit in front of Verhoeven, just a half a foot, he can hit it first time, and I think he gets the strike on goal.
Fouled in the back, Arce on Beto Navarro, and a free kick coming for Tulsa.
Just a tough foul there. The ball's up in the air, and Navarro just gets hit underneath. And that, it's the initial hit, but it's the landing. When you lose your footing like that and you fall down sideways, knocks the wind out of you. It doesn't feel great.
Tulsa not thrilled with referee David Barry right now. You saw David Vaudreuil gesticulating on the sideline. Vaudreuil has been all over the place in American soccer. He was a two-time MLS Cup champion as a player with DC United. He's been an assistant with New England Revolution, LA Galaxy. And now as a head coach, he took Tulsa to the playoffs in his first year. Shot from distance blocked. Del Campo down to Barrera. Los Oros with another opportunity. Out to the Englishman, Cooper. Bombs in across, and it's immediately blocked by Rivas. Cleveland, he stepped over the end line, and that will be a corner for Fresno. And Cleveland just lost his footing, I think, and was over the end line when he caught the ball.
And it was hard to see from our angle, but I think our camera guys may have gotten it their good work. There, he steps over, which is fine if his feet are out there. It's just where the ball is, and it does look like he was so far behind. The whole ball was out of play, and the whole ball has to be out of play in order for it to be truly out of bounds. And good catch there by our camera guys.
Yeah, he was 2 feet or so behind the line, and there's just no way the ball was in play from that. Ribeiro with our first corner of the match. Tulsa's given up twice as many corners as they've had this year. Free header, but Cleveland there. Just not enough power on it. I believe that was Navarro who got towards it. And Cleveland will take care of the rest for the Tulsa Roughnecks.
As that ball was up in the sky, you can see the sunset is so beautiful behind the stadium.
What beautiful country in the Central Valley, and really a developing area in Fresno. Didn't always have the top flight reputation of a Los Angeles or a San Francisco, but it's really coming along as a community, and this club is a big part of that.
They are, and we were talking about it a little bit. The community loves football, and they loved their team, their PDL team before, and now that they have a professional team, a little ode to their PDL team with the Fire Squad, Fresno, Fuego. They're oding to their old team, and you know, a lot of those players still playing within Fresno FC in their PDL system in their under 23 group. So it's cool to see how it's developing and the community really latching on to this new team.
Jusino fouls Bustamante. We have a free kick for Fresno. Yeah, the Fire Squad, the name of their supporters section, established this year, and you hear them chanting as Danny Barrera and Alex Cooper get around the ball for this free kick. Fresno knocking on the door here in the 25th minute. Header high and out of play. Another quarter chance or so for Fresno, and Cleveland without anything to do on it.
So much power in the air from Fresno FC. I think the last 4 dead ball situation crosses that we've seen, a different player has headed the ball to try to get it on net.
Tulsa has not won 50% of their aerial duels in any of their first 4 matches. They have struggled in the air this year big time, and an underrated part of the game, I think, in terms of trying to figure out which is the better side on a given day. The aerial duels numbers, something to look at, and they just have not been there for Tulsa this year.
And when you get opportunities like Fresno will on a field with maybe not as much width as you would hope, you get a lot of corner kicks, and to send the ball in and have aerial presence is big time.
Verhoeven again with some energy, couldn't get Bustamante on the end of the cross. G heads out right to Cooper for Fresno. Verhoeven again, boy, he's really provided a spark, this teenager in the Whitecaps Academy. Another long-range shot! You gotta be kidding me! What a goal for Pedro Ribeiro! Can we add a nominee for goal of the week? The voting's still open till tomorrow. Goodness gracious. Ribeiro's first shot on target this year.
And it all happens because of Verhoeven. He brings some defenders to him, and then look who's wide open. It's Ribeiro. Eyes up. He's like, might as well. You can't place it better than that. It's a beautiful strike by Ribeiro. And the excitement afterwards, his teammates, I think we all knew that was one of the best strikes we're going to see this season.
The Brazilian midfielder, Pedro Ribeiro, an absolute golazo from far out. And Fresno grabbed the 1-0 lead. 8 goals this year, 8 different goal scorers for Fresno. Absolutely wondrous from Pedro Ribeiro.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to say that's got to be their best goal yet. If it's not, then Fresno's in for a good season.
It was Kaffa on the free kick. We saw it right off the top of the broadcast, but this was an open play.
Yeah, I got to always say open play. Most of the time, that you couldn't have placed it any better. It hits where both of where the seam from the side netting and the top netting come together. I mean, that was picture perfect. You dream of that.
And for Ribeiro, 27 years old, it has been a wild road through American soccer. He played his college ball at Coastal Carolina, and he's made 30 career appearances in Major League Soccer, 9 with the Philadelphia Union in 2014, and most notably 21 with Orlando City in 2015 and 16 in the first 2 years of that club. But when Orlando City made a coaching change from Adrian Heath to Jason Kreis, Ribeiro fell out of favor. He's moved on to the USL, played last year with Harrisburg City, and has found a home in the starting 11 for Fresno. And I think Adam Smith has just got to be thrilled with what he's getting out of the Brazilian so far this year. First, tremendous defense in that holding midfield spot, and now a wonderful goal in the first half here at home. Tulsa with a chance to respond. A free kick here. Paris G and Fernando Arce around the ball for the Roughnecks. And every set-piece opportunity so important for the Roughnecks, who again find themselves playing from behind. Arce's ball dealt with easily.
And you mentioned the stat about Roughnecks not being great aerially. And I wonder if you just play short. You try to expose a team that's all shifted to the back post, play it to that near post gap, see if you can catch them maybe sleeping. So for me, not the best choice to go in the air to the back post, kind of where it's predicted you're going to take it.
Is there an air of desperation maybe about this? You know, this is a team that, I know it's very early in the year, but they've really had their struggles, and you go on the road and you find yourself down again, and you sense an opportunity to go to goal, and I guess your instinct is just to go route one. And
Coach talked about that. They're pressing the game a little bit too much, and when you don't have the results you want, and you're not scoring as many goals as you want, your shots seem to come a little bit more frequently in there. Maybe not the best shot when you could have one more pass. So yeah, it could be that element of just pressing the game a little too much, trying to get more out of it than you can.
Here's some numbers forward for Tulsa. Holliger Jansen, the loanee from New England Revolution. Fresno's first clear attempt, nothing there. The second one, they get it loose. And here's Cooper, or excuse me, Verhoeven, who's had so much energy so far. The 18-year-old Whitecaps Academy man. Originally from Surrey in British Columbia, Canada, but he is both American and Canadian citizenship. He actually switched his national team affiliation from Canada to the United States last year. He's getting a little bit of time with the US U20s. Gone to a couple of camps for them. And we know the headlining youngster for the Whitecaps, Alphonso Davies, made his name at the Gold Cup last year as a 16-year-old for the Canadian national team. But Verhoeven, another teenage midfielder with a chance to join him and make an impact up in Vancouver.
I mean, he's already making an impact in this game. Verhoeven, the first few times he gets the ball, he goes straight at the back line. So the next time they close him, he dishes the ball off and gets an assist. It's really intelligent play by him.
He'll be thrilled to have the assist. What a goal by Pedro Ribeiro.
I almost slapped you when it happened. I was so punch slap. I don't know what it was, but
it was intense. it was quite a moment. Here goes Maidana for Tulsa, and I got to tell you too, there were a couple of worrying moments very, very early, but this Fresno back line, they've got their 4 back. They do have Navarro as a center back playing at right back with Zachary Ellis-Hayden out, but you wouldn't know it. They have been very organized and composed tonight. We're going to take another look at this goal by Ribeiro. I cannot talk this up enough. It's one of the best goals you'll see all year.
Here it is. Verhoeven brings the defenders in, and then it's just Ribeiro in a pocket of space. Oh, why not? Literally where the seams of the net meet. That is perfection.
Every time I see it, my jaw drops a little bit. That was an absolutely ridiculous goal. And it's not like Cleveland did poorly. He had a pretty good read on it. There's just nothing you could do.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, some of those as a goalkeeper, you got to think like, oh, I could have done better. But like, literally, you couldn't have done better.
No, he had as good an attempt at that as he possibly could. And it just didn't happen for him. It was an absolutely absurd goal and a really a treat to see. The USL, we talked about it just before, just keeps getting better. Montano threading through, and again, Navarro playing a high line and making the best of it. Tulsa win it back. Holliger Jansen flick through Rivas. Joaquin Rivas, shot blocked, corner Tulsa.
That was a really great ball over the top by Hollinger Jansen, to Rivas, because the line for Fresno is so high and everybody's stacked right on top of the box.
Another ball in, and Rainish gets in front of Francisco Ugarte and ready to send it loose for Fresno. So again, they're trying to get the ball in centrally, and Fresno continue to have the edge on them in terms of physicality in the box.
But I like the idea of playing short, instead of sending it in, losing the first headed ball, they play it short, see if they can slip something in at a different angle, maybe bring it in where someone can either get a foot on it there at the near post or just a deflection. But the space is going to be once they press Fresno back, it's that pocket of space where Fresno took advantage, where Ribeiro found his goal is right between the lines of the defense and the midfielder. If whoever wins that pocket of space is going to win this game.
Maidana's pass inside gets taken away. And Ribeiro, here he comes again for Fresno. Verhoeven, or Kaffa, the captain from Argentina. He's been involved a lot tonight. Here's Cooper. Fresno working up the sideline. Cesares into Kaffa. Ball in front, headed away. And Tulsa clean up the mess. Ribeiro gets in front of the last clearance. Cesares a little bit behind that, and here's Tulsa as they deal with combination play successfully. Long run for Rivas, and Ramon Martin del Campo, the center back, beats him in a foot race, and it'll be a goal kick for Rainish. Hear exclusive stories directly from the USL's players and USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch, with written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. 35 minutes in, 1-0 to the home side off a wonder goal from Fresno FC's Pedro Ribeiro, one of the very best goals you will see in any league all year. And hang on a second. That went over the line. Well, what's going on here?
Pass back.
Yeah, Tulsa believe they have a goal. They restarted from the end line. They're not going to get to do that. Or do they? Did Tulsa just score?
No, Tulsa's thinking that it was a pass back, and Kyle Remish.
They were running off together, but now they're talking to David Barry, the referee, trying to figure out exactly what happened here.
So there's a pass back from Fresno,
yes,
and their goalkeeper picked it up. So they're trying to get a free kick here in the box for a pass back.
This is kind of an off the mainstream rule that you don't see very often, Jordan.
Right, and this does not happen very often. Usually it's off of a weird deflection, and you don't know, if your player accidentally passed it back to you. But that, I'd have to see it again.
And now they look like they're overturning it.
Yeah.
So no pass back called in the end, and they just give Rainish the ball and let him take it away. So a very odd sequence. Tulsa, you saw them try to get that quick restart and a goal, thinking that they had the pass back called, and David Barry eventually changes his mind. Long ball looking for Barrera, and Danny Barrera gets into the box here. Barrera loses it, corner to Fresno, as it was dealt with out of play by Montano.
Barrera's been really active in the first 37 minutes here. He's finding the little seams to get the ball off of a forward, but there he holds the ball up brilliantly and earns a corner kick. He just finds himself in the right place. He reads play so well.
Barrera and Ribeiro have started every match for Fresno. They've been so key as two veterans that they can play in that central midfield, which is such an important position in today's game. Barrera's corner very high, back post looking for Navarro. He turns it back on, but it's over the bar, and a goal kick for Stephen Cleveland. Let's go see if we can figure out what happened on this pass back here. They were looking to see if Rainish had picked this up, or Cooper, Rainish had picked it up on a pass back from Cooper. What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, it looked like a clear pass
Looks
back
like one to me, yeah. I don't really see how it's not.
Wow.
Rainish, again, you're not allowed to pick that up as a keeper. It's not a rule that's enforced or seen very often, but
and it would be an indirect free kick from that spot within the box.
Which would have been terrifying for Fresno. Meanwhile, we got another corner here for the Foxes, and it looks like Rainish kind of got away with one there. Verhoeven taking the corner. Loose in the box. Ribeiro again wide.
Ball deflected.
It was deflected, and we've got another corner kick for the Foxes.
Sometimes when you're on, the ball just finds you, and you seem to be in the right spot at the right time. And there, Ribeiro looked like he was going to get number 2. A little deflection keeps Tulsa still in it. It's a great service in, and here's Ribeiro. Says, thank you very much. I'll take a shot, and the deflection there off of Munoz.
Header on, cleared off the line. Oh, defending to save a goal there from the forward, Arce, who came all the way back to get that ball off the line. Fresno is winning every header right now.
And I'm guessing Arce is in the box on a corner because he's good he's good in the air.
Oh,
so,
he's 6'1".
Yeah, he's good in the air, so he's helping them defensively. So in the right spot to save that ball from going in.
Slipped a little bit there, but picked back up by Fresno. And a ball through. Bustamante's onside. Cross in front. No water in the pool.
And that's just an easy cross. Bustamante, put it on the ground. There's so many players running towards your goal. It doesn't matter who it goes off there. If you play it hard, with pace, whip it in back towards those players, it's going to hit off of someone. It's going to go in the direction you want it to go, which is towards your goal.
Barrera fouls Montano. And Tulsa just trying to take the air out of the game a little bit here. Fresno has been flying since the goal. That tremendous strike by Pedro Ribeiro in the 27th minute that gave Fresno this 1-0 lead. Foxes looking to go unbeaten in 5 straight with 3 wins in that span if they can kill off the rest of this game tonight. And this is kind of a new situation for them. We saw it in that graphic we had right at the beginning as Ribeiro gets another interception. They only led for 26 minutes all year coming into this. They've been winning their games late. Ball through. Cooper maybe had a shot at that, but Cleveland gets on top of it first. But this is the first time that Fresno will be asked to kill off a game for a long period of time, Jordan.
And I think that for Fresno, you're not even thinking about that right now. You're thinking about continuing your momentum. You've had some opportunities going forwards. You're being able to find a couple ways to break down Tulsa. So you're thinking about, can we score more goals? Because, yeah, 1-0 is great, but if you're Fresno, you like to put multiple goals in the back of the net every game. So I think they're going to have to keep their lead if they're going to win this game, but they're thinking goals right now.
Yeah,
how can we score more?
Certainly looks like there's more than one in this game for Fresno right now. Cesares slipping it through, and then a header back from G to handle it. And again, you know, Fresno, they're still just trying to get everybody game time, get everybody minutes. If they get a larger lead, perhaps they can sub in a couple of guys that haven't been able to play too much this year. They went with what's pretty close to a first-choice lineup here, but you know, they're looking to win this game. They've got another game coming up in 4 days, too, here at home against San Antonio FC.
And every game is important, but at the beginning of the season, you're looking for challenges that's going to help you grow as a squad. And they've had challenges and not leading a lot of games. So now they lead. This is a different way to grow as a team. And if you're Tulsa, again, you're coming from behind. You're trying to figure out a way to even up the score, to get your first win. So learning moments early on for both of these squads.
Jusino frustrated to give that throw away. You saw Arce on the other end, no foul called. And while a foul here on Bustamante, as Ivan Mirkovic, the central midfielder, well, we haven't called his name at all. Mirkovic, who started every game, the Serbian veteran, who actually played here in Fresno. For 2 years at Fresno Pacific University, he was the Conference Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. He's been bouncing around some Western Conference clubs, Sacramento, Orange County, St. Louis, and now with Tulsa here this season. He's an important cog for them in central midfield, and again, the midfield has been kind of absent tonight for Tulsa. It's been a lot of just trying to beat Fresno on the counter and get the ball from back to front relatively quickly.
Well, the space in the midfield is so tight that it's going to bypass the midfield a lot unless there's more movement, unless there's a layoff from the front runners. And you can see right here that the space is in between the midfield and the back line. Someone's got to pop in there, win the ball, lay it off, and then there's opportunities to slip balls through the back line. The possession needs to be there. It needs to be a little bit more patient from Tulsa.
There's a little build-up play for the Roughnecks, and then Arce leaves it too long. Rainish clears out of play. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow @USL on Twitter. Will be 1 minute of added time. We're learning at the end of the 45 minutes here. Not a ton of time left for Tulsa to try and get an equalizer before the break. Stoppage time has hurt them in recent months. They were ahead 2-1 over Real Monarchs last month at home. Gave away goals in the 89th minute and the first minute of added time to drop that game. And last year in the playoffs, their first ever playoff game against San Antonio FC, they were a 7 seed playing the 2. They got it to added time, 1-1, and a penalty kick in stoppage time awarded to San Antonio is what downed Tulsa last year. And they are still smarting from that loss. They haven't won since. As a foul, Merkovich wins it back for Tulsa.
And you talk about Tulsa trying to even it up before halftime, but I think for them right now, they're just trying to get into halftime without conceding another goal.
Montano, the left back, he's starting to get more involved going forward. Oliver Jansen slipping his way past a couple of defenders, back for Merkovich. Tulsa with a little possession here near the end of the half. Montano looking for a call. He doesn't get it. And right back to the back line. Munoz turns it over. And here's Cooper with a long run. He dribbled it too far in front of himself. Rivas to Montano. A lot of green grass in front of him. Or baseball dirt. Looking inside for Maidana. It's cleared away. Fresno's back line been very confident throughout this game. They've been very well organized as well, as we see the 1 minute of added time put up by the fourth official.
And Tulsa early on able to get in behind Fresno in the first few minutes, drop some balls in behind the back line. But since then, Fresno very quick to drop their back line, give the space up in front of them. So that's where that little layoff, you can see the players at the top of the box. Hollander, Jansen right there. You lay the ball off to him, he's in space just like Ribeiro was on the other end.
A lot of space here for Fresno to try and grab something in the final seconds. Barrera tripped up, no call. And that will likely be our last bit of serious action before the break. Hollinger Jansen looking to create something for Tulsa, but Arce was offside and could not go after the ball. We've got highlights, stats, the goal of the week nominees from around the league coming up on halftime. We'll take a look at the team of the week. It includes an absolutely ridiculous goal from Suni Saad of Indy 11, although it may have been topped tonight. You've got to see this goal from Pedro Ribeiro. I don't think we can add it to the nominees, but we probably should. We'll get a look at them when we come back. Right now, though, Fresno, thanks to that wonder goal by Ribeiro with a 1-0 lead at the half here at home. Plenty to come here on halftime from Chuck Chansey Park. Stay with us.
Fresno FC lidera 1-0 ante los Roughnecks de Tulsa en el primer tiempo. Un verdadero golazo de los
friend Heather and Krista, who will be participating in the Whisper Challenge. So here's how it works. My friend Krista here will have the headphones in with the music blasting as well as music in the background. No cheating at all. While you, my friend, will be looking up at the video board, there will be three words, okay? You will have 3 chances per word, okay? And guess who you are going up against today? Can we take a wild guess? Sam? No. Sam is not Fuego. Not today. He's just here to help out. Sam Strong and Taryn Campbell, alrighty? So the person who gets the most words out of you guys, as well as them, will be taking home a Fox's prize pack. How does that sound? You guys ready for the challenge? Fans, you guys think they're ready for this challenge? Alrighty, everyone.
Back at Chuck Chansey Park in Fresno, California, in the home side with a 1-0 lead, thanks to an absolutely incredible goal from long distance from Pedro Ribeiro. Speaking of incredible goals, why don't we roll through the USL Goal of the Week nominees? And I'm sure the Ribeiro goal from tonight will be on next week's reel. We can check out the ones from this week's action and some really strong goals. First, we take a look at Sacramento Republic. How about Christian Isley? Phenomenal goal off the corner with a little flick on.
I love that. Inside of the boot, just guides it to the back post. Phenomenal goal, and wants to hear it from the crowd. He knows that was a stunner.
Sacramento Republic, of course, enjoyed tremendous fan support. Here's New York Red Bulls, too. They've been scoring in bunches. Jose Aguinaga from long range to beat the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Just bends it. We talk about the seam that the goal in our game hits, but this one, you can't place it better in the side netting. Goalkeeper with the best effort, but that was a beauty.
How about this? The first goal Louisville City conceded all year. Brian Shriver for Richmond Kickers. They did go on to lose the game, but just a phenomenal goal from long range. It's really the only way to beat Louisville City right now is to just crack a screamer at them.
And the pace on it with the inside of his foot, bending it far post, that was difficult. That seam he had was not very much. What a beautiful goal.
Shriver for the Kickers. This is a free kick here for Koji Hashimoto. Game winner it turned out to be for Orange County Soccer Club over San Antonio.
I mean, are you kidding me? These goals this week have been phenomenal.
And the USL, the quality is, all right, you got to see this. Suni's side, it doesn't look like all that much from this angle, right? It looks like the keeper slips. But you're going to see it from the end zone cam. Watch the bend on this ball.
Coming near post, goes far post. He hits it with, he has a sweeping follow through where it goes outside to inside. It hits the outside of his foot, and wow.
And here's the goal from tonight's game from Pedro Ribeiro. Remember, folks, you can vote on the USL Select Goal of the Week. Log on to USLsoccer.com. Voting is open until noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Pedro Ribeiro, wouldn't be surprised if he wins it next week for that wonder strike. That's got Fresno up 1-0. Now it's time for our first edition of the Blakedown. Enjoy.
Welcome to the 4th episode of the Blakedown. Once again, I've handpicked my plays of the week, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Ball sent in. Cross the way, team save, keeps it 1-0.
This clip is both attacking and defensive. You see on the Orange County counter-attack here, he does extremely well to carry his run forward, and he gives the defense of San Antonio a lot of problems. And then if you flip it now and you look at his recovery run, it's fantastic. You know, he tracks the immediate run of the attacker, and then he follows it through and continues to back up his keeper on the line. And it's a fantastic goal line clearance, and it keeps them in the game after 60 minutes.
Out. Back to Sari. Chip toward the back post. Felix Chaykum and an early goal for S2.
The reason I've picked this clip is not just the finish and the header, but also if you watch Sari's assist. He backs up his winger here and he creates himself an extremely good angle to give that cross. And technically it's an extremely tough pass to make. When the ball's coming at you and you've got to give a 90-degree angle on it and cross it at the back post, it's extremely difficult because you have to think about all sorts at that stage. You have to think about the keeper coming to catch it, but then also giving the loft to get it over the defender and down. And it's a fantastic assist, and that's the reason it's in my Player of the Week.
For O-line, Von Williams. Stepped up big, but his number was called. Look at this. Perfectly timed. It's Sunni Saad. Saad lines him up.
Sunni Saad's goal for Indy 11, for me, was created purely by Iozzi's pass here. When the ball's played into Iozzi, he takes a couple of steps back, and that gives him the opportunity to get his head up and see Saad's movement. And it's a fantastic driven pass over the defense, and it's a fantastic finish into the corner with good disguise.
Stability in terms of paying so that players from the Caribbean, players from South America.
This clip is one of my favorite ones. The athletic trainer for St. Louis, is just so casual with it. I mean, he takes it out the air one-handed as if he's not done anything about it. And, you know, he's caught it and throw back, just dead casual. And I think he's amazed every single player on the bench, including all his players. So as you can see from the breakdown this week, it's not just players that get on, it's also athletic trainers. So keep that in mind for future games. I hope you've enjoyed my hand-picked plays from the week on the 4th episode of The Breakdown. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Sunrise to sunset.
And a great job done as always by Jack Blake. It's Fresno up 1-0 here in Fresno, California at Chuck Chansey Park. Let's take a look at the USL Team of the Week. You saw Sunni Saad, both of his goals, the one Goal of the Week nominee, and then the other one that Jack broke down for you. No question why he was named the Player of the Week. He scored both goals in a 3-2 win for Indy 11 in their first year in USL, coming over from the NASL. A lot of other big names on this Team of the Week, though. Andre Rawls, the goalie for Orange County, 8 saves in a 3-0 clean sheet win over San Antonio FC. He finished second in the Player of the Year voting. Joey Calistri right there in the middle for St. Louis. He's an ex-Tulsa Roughnecks, scored 9 goals for them last year, along with Juan Pablo Caffa. Caffa, of course, now playing for the opposition tonight for Fresno. Another guy to shout out, Toby Adewole, the defender for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They've been one of the best defenses in all of USL this year. He had 10 duels in his clean sheet win, won all of them, and hit a late winner for the Riverhounds. Some phenomenal individual performances on this week's USL Team of the Week. It comes out every Tuesday. Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule of games. This is the free game on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app each of the next few weeks. Some really big matchups, including Las Vegas Lights coming up next week. We also have a USL Game of the Week going on right now. Sacramento Republic taking on Colorado Springs Switchback. So that's the free game, but get this, for $4.99 a month, you get ESPN Plus. Every single USL, and MLS out of market game is streamed live on ESPN Plus, including this one right now. ESPN Plus just $4.99 a month, the new streaming service rolled out by ESPN. We'll have highlights and stats when we come back as we near the second half kickoff. You got to see this goal again from Pedro Ribeiro. Fresno with a 1-0 lead thanks to their Brazilian midfielder. Fresno 1, Tulsa Roughnecks 0 here at the break as we near the second half kickoff. And that one, I know there's no three-pointer in soccer, but Pedro Ribeiro certainly earned it with maybe the goal of the year in the USL. We're already hashtag SC Top 10 on this. I mean, this is just unbelievable, Jordan.
You should have added from downtown on your call, but
that was not the goal.
That was not the goal. Fresno had a few opportunities. Tulsa at the beginning of the match really, I think, had the majority of play. We're getting in behind the back line of Fresno, but then Fresno turned it around, started finding these little pockets in front of the back line, behind the midfield, and they started to find their rhythm going forward.
Sumptuous little side kick by Kaffa there to set up Ribeiro. That was saved by Cleveland. It really did feel like the goal was coming.
It did. A lot of chances for Fresno FC and a lot of play by Verhoeven on the left flank to aid. Here's a good chance by Ribeiro off of a header. But here it is. Verhoeven gets the ball, and then here it is from downtown, right? A little touch to get it out in front of him, and then Ribeiro just buries it. I mean, the pace, the placement, everything about that was exactly perfect. And that is one of the best goals I've seen in a long time.
This angle really shows the tight window that he had to put this in. I mean, it was just spectacular. And Cleveland, we mentioned this while it happened, Jordan, but Cleveland does pretty well here. There's just nothing you can do.
It was the pace on it. You know, we talk about the placement right away, but the pace allowed it to get past Cleveland before he could outstretch and get there. So it was an absolutely phenomenal goal by Ribeiro.
You see the stats. Tulsa actually leading in possession. A lot of that was early and then very late in the half. Fresno really in the middle 25 minutes or so dominated the proceedings, and you can tell by the shots number, they've just had the better end of this so far.
Fresno, a lot more opportunities and getting some shots on target as well. It's been a pretty clean match from what I expected. I thought it was going to be a little bit more hectic, right? It's a smaller pitch. There's a lot more chances for you to run into somebody next to you, but Fresno taking advantage of their 3 shots on target and just placing one in the back of the net. Yeah, they've had a lot more of the
better chances, and they've taken advantage of them. We have the weekend schedule coming up in the USL, and of course, both teams will be in action, Fresno will be in action this weekend. They host San Antonio, 2-game week. OKC in St. Louis, that's a fun game going on down Tulsa's neighbors in Oklahoma City. Really good Western Conference action coming up.
I feel like the USL, every single matchup, there's so much firepower on each team. There's a lot of options from given teams that they can play at different lineups and still be just as powerful. So I look at all those matchups and I think you could watch any of those games and be entertained.
This is a league on the rise. We have a substitution for both teams. The sub for Fresno, Christian Cheney, has replaced Renato Bustamante at the center forward position. Cheney, a 23-year-old local from Fresno who grew up playing for the Fuego, the PDL team, played for Fresno City College, went to Armenia for a year and then came back, and he's found his way back to his local club at the USL level. Now Cheney replacing Bustamante, who had a couple of decent opportunities early on, but was not able to completely find his way into the game. Santiago Maidana has come off for Tulsa, and I believe I didn't see the fourth official, but I believe that's John Baccaro, who has come in for Tulsa, and I did not see him on the 18 listed coming into the game. But John Baccaro, we haven't talked about him because we didn't think he was eligible. But indeed he is, and John Baccaro has a chance to completely change this match. Let's get you a little bit of information about this guy. He's the 5th overall draft pick in MLS this year, on loan from Chicago Fire. He is expected to be one of the top goal scorers in all of American soccer going forward. He was the Herman Trophy winner. That's the soccer equivalent of the Heisman in American college soccer at the D1 level for Wake Forest. 23 matches last year, 16 goals, 14 assists for John Baccaro. His father, Jose Marie Baccaro, was on the Barcelona Dream Team that won the 1992 European Cup. He played 30 games for the Spanish national team. Fresno with another opportunity. Cheney just wide. And Fresno with a near breakaway. Well, that could have limited Vaccaro's impact right there.
Right.
Christian Cheney, the other sub, looking to make the big impact.
You know what's great about this is Cheney knows he doesn't have a big pocket a big window to get the shot off. So he just goes with the toe poke, trying to get it fast off of his foot. Unfortunately for him, it goes on the wrong side of the near post, but quick little counter there from Cheney.
The Valley's largest premier youth soccer organization.
So Christian Cheney, we're talking about the Tulsa sub, and Christian Cheney wants to say, hey, remember me. I just came into this game too to try and be a match changer for my side. Here's Kaffa, the captain, Fresno, off on the break again. Kaffa tracked by Montano, flicked in, Cheney once more. Cleveland dives on top of it.
That's a phenomenal save by Cleveland. The ball gets switched so quickly, and Cheney is off again. He knew how quickly Cheney got the last shot off, and Cleveland closes him quickly, is able to scoop the ball up off his foot and deny Cheney a shot.
What a start to this second half for Fresno FC here at home. Tulsa brings in the ringer, and Fresno goes ahead and gets two great chances right off the start.
Yeah, I expected halftime to be an adjustment for Tulsa. They need goals. I like that they bring Vaccaro in, but they're going to have to be sound at the back too if they're going to keep themselves in this game. So they can't give up counterattacks. They have to stop that quick change of possession through the midfield in order to limit Fresno from getting any more chances like that early on in the second half.
So Christian Cheney making a big difference for Fresno. Let's see if they can get Vaccaro involved. He's a center forward, legitimate number 9 that Chicago hope will eventually replace Nemanja Nikolic as their first choice number 9 on the first team. He made his MLS debut over the weekend against Zlatan Ibrahimovic and LA Galaxy, coming on in the 85th minute. Down here at Tulsa to get some time. Here's Kaffa again. Fresno on the attack. Kaffa tripped up, no call. Merkovic takes it away, and a nice tackle in the back by Tulsa. Flick through, denied by Daly. And Fresno get right back on top of the goal. David Barry kind of letting them play a little bit here. Here's Verhoeven. And Fresno on the attack again. Verhoeven, the teenager, driving forward. And the ball knocked away. Just not quite enough space for him to make that run. And now we finally get a foul called as Ribeiro pushes down Arce, and a little pushing and shoving with the Californian forward and the Argentine captain for Fresno, Juan Pablo Kaffa.
And a couple of plays there just let go. It looked like a handball on Tulsa, excuse me, on Fresno. But I like this. I like that they're just able to play. I think it'll be interesting. It does look like Vaccaro's sitting behind the front two to see if he can maybe play off him. I told you that space is in between the back line and the midfield. Can he pop into that space like this and try to dictate play from there?
Great ball through the lines here by Vaccaro, and offside on Rivas. Second time he's been off on a similar play very early in the first half, Jordan, and we'll have a goal kick for Kyle Rainish. Want to get exclusive video content and photography from across the USL? Make sure to follow the league's official Instagram account at USL Soccer.
Going back to that run from Rivas, it's hard to stay on side. Typically, you try to like hook your run out wide and then come back in. He might just have to run along the back line. He can see straight across the back line, Rivas can there. So just keep yourself on side. You need those opportunities. You need those breaks, especially being down a goal.
Kaffa. Fresno wins another goal kick, and then a foul on Tulsa. I believe that was Merkovic looking for the takeaway in midfield. 1-0 to the home side still off that phenomenal goal by Pedro Ribeiro. Check out SportsCenter, and later on tonight, I get a sense that on the 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific SportsCenter out on the West Coast, there are West Coast listeners in Fresno tonight, you are going to get plenty of looks.
You better. I mean, come on. That was just ridiculous.
Here's Ribeiro. You're going to see it again here, too. I'm sure we'll be playing it a few times throughout the second half. It was absolutely magnificent. I'm not hyping it up. It was tremendous. Here they go again. Verhoeven leaves it through. Kaffa cleared off the line by Montano. Smith screaming for a handball in the box. He's not going to get it. Corner kick.
And Kaffa, I think it's just, you have two decisions here. You go back post, which you tried to do with a cross. But I don't know. You're open. You're in the box. You're driving at net. It's you and the goalie. Go for goal here. He has a shot, I think.
Handball? Might
have been a handball.
They did not call it. The corner is cleared away by Tulsa.
And that's all that matters, right? They didn't call it. Who cares what we say?
Well, in fairness, too, to David Barry, they've been very consistent in this game.
Yeah.
It's been very open, and it's been played fairly cleanly. Little frustration, pushing and shoving, as we see right here. And a foul called against Verhoeven for Fresno. But for the most part, it's been a very clean and open game.
And it has been. And you know what? That was the right call. Verhoeven trying to earn a foul there. He flopped. And because this game has been so clean, when that happens, you can tell that that's not a foul on Tulsa. That's Verhoeven trying to gain a free kick. And so I think that's a really good call by the referee. And it keeps the game getting played the way it is, just fair.
Cleveland's goal kick goes all the way out the other end. It'll be Rainish for Fresno. Visit the USL's Instagram story every Monday evening to watch Kelsey Steele's hat trick as she breaks down 3 key talking points from the previous week's action. Again, the Instagram for the USL is at USL Soccer. 54th minute, Evan West and Jordan Angeli here from Chuck Chansey Park in Fresno, where the home side, Los Zorros, with a 1-0 lead on an unbelievable golazo by Pedro Ribeiro. Tulsa looking to equalize. Ball played through the line for Rivas, and Del Campo clears it out for a Tulsa throw.
Really good read by Del Campo. He just sees that the seam is between him and his outside back, and he beats the Tulsa player there.
Kaffa off and running again. Cheney, 2-on-1 break. Kaffa screaming down the left wing. Flicks back. Barrera in the box. Barrera unable to turn on it. Loses it, and Tulsa somehow handle it.
Wow.
I think Kaffa's ball was just a little bit loose in between Cheney and Barrera.
There's a little too much loft on it. It gave Tulsa the opportunity to get back.
Arce with some fancy footwork. He has Baquero. Can the 5th overall pick make something happen? Baquero, cross, back post, header. Oh, it's in! Tulsa have equalized! What a cross by Baquero, and Paris G, the 23-year-old from Canada, comes up with a wide-open header and gets it past Rainish.
I can't say enough about Baquero here. He looks like to go to goal. It gets denied at first, and then he has the wherewithal to look up, not see the 2 runners near, but to find G at the far post. That's a beautiful assist by Baquero. And then the texture on this header, it goes up and over, it lofts above Rainish. It's a really wonderful played goal by Tulsa.
What a cheeky little header there by G. And we told you Baquero was a match changer. What an absolute wonder ball from John Baquero. And Chicago Fire fans, if you're tuning in to see John Baquero play tonight, I tell you what, you are in for a treat when this young man starts to make his way into the first team. He is spectacular, if that play is any indication.
And I like that he is getting minutes, right? That's exactly what you want from a young player who has a lot of potential going forward. You need to get assists. You need to get goals. And I like that Baquero comes in and he does what he does. This is a guy who played for Wake Forest and was the real deal, right? And he just continues that at the professional level here. He's not even 10 minutes into his first game, and he already has an assist.
Cheney fouled in Tulsa's defensive half by Claudio Munoz. That'll be a pretty tasty looking free kick here for Fresno. Game on. And how about the Roughnecks trailing again, and finally, when they get down, they manage to equalize and get back into this game. This team is growing into the season, and it certainly doesn't hurt to have the 5th overall pick in MLS come into your side at halftime. Barrera's free kick just over the head of Mickey Daly, who was looking to put it into the back of the net for 2-1. Interesting note from our producer Ryan Rose here. This is some fun for the math folks out here like me. Fresno had led 26 total minutes in their first 5 games, despite winning or drawing 4 of them. They led for 26 minutes tonight and then lost the lead on that equalizer by Paris G.
We're going to beat that 26-minute eventually. It's not going to be tonight. Well, maybe.
Well, they've got a chance if they get back in head. There goes Tulsa, Holliger, Jansen, and they were looking for Montana, the left back, down that far wing. And Ribeiro somehow gets it to Verhoeven, but Cheney loses it. Munoz, or Jusino rather, playing it forward. Beccaro again looking to get on the ball. And it's Alex Cooper, the Liverpool product, who gets on top of it. We got a player down for Fresno, and I think that's Ribeiro, who scored the opener for Fresno in phenomenal fashion. It is Pedro Ribeiro, the Brazilian, who is down for the Foxes.
Just when we were saying it was a clean game, that equalizing goal from Tulsa upped the ante a little bit and gotten a little bit more chippy in the middle of the pitch.
And Ribeiro still struggling to get up as the trainers will go look at him. The goal he scored earlier tonight. Tulsa's goal was very good, too. I'll say that. Great team football, but boy, Ribeiro's individual effort earlier would be an absolute shame if he couldn't continue here, especially for a Fresno team that has had injury issues. They lost Jamel Johnson, who had scored twice for them this year in their last game. They're without their starting right back, Zachary Ellis-Hayden, who's out with an abdominal strain for the 2nd straight game. They're missing 2 other players, Matthew Baldissimo and Lamine Suma, with leg injuries. And Ribeiro, fortunately for Los Zorros, back to his feet, and they will be breathing a lot easier that their starting star central midfield man is back up.
Yeah, good to see him running, and this is the player who's been really crucial to the way that they're playing today, getting numbers behind their front runners, but then he's holding it down in that 6th position and winning a lot of balls for them, both in the air, but also just picking off passes and then starting the attack going the other way.
Fresno on the ball here, and the home crowd looking to rally Fresno back into this. The Fire Squad, the home supporter section here for Fresno FC. And the Foxes, who did lead for 26 minutes, now even. Ugarte has Beccaro. Beccaro from distance, way high. That is a home run ball for the baseball team here. Over the 385 sign for the Fresno Grizzlies, a AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros. Unfortunately for Beccaro, that doesn't get you any points in soccer.
Can't blame him, though. If I saw that goal in the first half, I would try to shoot from anywhere, too.
He's already got an assist in his USL debut on loan from the Chicago Fire. Well, here come Fresno. Cooper, the Englishman at left back, coming down the wing. To Verhoeven, and the teenager looking to make something happen again. Verhoeven shot. That looked like it took a deflection off Jusino. No, it'll be a goal kick for Stephen Cleveland.
Both teams, so many bodies in front of the net that when you have a shot going towards the top of the 18, your only option really is to go high. So that's why, for me, we see a shot by Beccaro going high on the far side with Tulsa, and now Verhoeven on this side going high. There's no option to get through that mess at the top of the box.
How about the energy these young kids have brought to this league, though? American soccer continues to get more international. You got Beccaro from Spain, Verhoeven from Canada. They're getting younger. They're getting hungrier. It's just a great time to be a fan of the game in this country.
The development of younger kids, even within our system here with the DA, and it's incredible to see how youth players are just getting better and better.
Arce for Tulsa. Good work around his man. Arce shoots wide left. Beto Navarro doing well to stay in front of him. And maybe you want a ball in front there from Fernando Arce.
Yeah, you gotta chop it across. You have so many players in front of net. You're looking for a deflection. You gotta get it at least going towards Ramish, and then you can go from there, right? Get a deflection, get somebody running on to goal.
They got their first one.
Yeah, missing near post is just, you don't give anybody an opportunity.
I'll tell you what, though, Jordan, this was a slow start to this game. It is end-to-end right now. between Fresno and Tulsa. Here's Navarro for the Foxes off the goal kick. Kind of slipped through by Barrera, but it gets past Kaffa. Cleveland with a high pop-up, and he can't keep it in play. It'll be a throw from the substitution area for Beto Navarro. And they're going to let him advance a little bit with it. A lot bit, in fact, in front of Adam Smith, his manager. In his first year, he spent the last 3 years as the top assistant with Sacramento Republic. Another deep throw for Fresno. Smith was the goalkeepers coach for Portland Timbers when they came to MLS. As a player, won back-to-back USL Pro titles with 2 different teams in the early 2000s. Here's a ball in. Cheney looking to get on the other end of it. Cleveland, thanks to a screen from his man Claudio Munoz, and Enrique Montano gets on top of the ball to prevent Cheney.
A really good ball in that seam between the back line and the midfield. It bent in there and allowed Fresno to get some players to run onto it.
Montano wants Baccaro again. He has really made a difference for Tulsa. Montano heads down. Baccaro with a great little noggin shot to G, who scored the goal off the header earlier, but it's cleared away by Fresno.
And we knew it was going to be critical for Fresno to get into halftime, just down a goal, and now they've shown character in coming back. This is really positive for this squad. You know, a lot of turnover in the offseason, and now they're finding their identity. They're figuring out who they are, and those are the kind of tests that you want. Can you come back from being down a goal? And they seem to be on the front foot right now as well.
End-to-end action here at the Chuck. Fresno and Tulsa 1-1 in a Western Conference battle. Tulsa still winless on the year, but they drew their last game. I don't know if they'd be thrilled with a point, but they've certainly earned one with the way they've played in the second half here. Meanwhile, Fresno, I'm sure they want to win this game here at home in front of their supporters. They had the early lead. They got that great goal from Ribeiro. Would be a shame not to get all 3 points out of a fixture with a goal like that. But right now, we are 1 apiece.
Yeah, those are the goals that you want to win the game, right? Because then they're remembered a little bit more.
Good ball here. Cheney, though, couldn't quite catch up to it.
Great play by Cleveland. There was just too much space in behind the back line. He had to come out and make a play, and he does with his head.
Cleveland, another loanee from Chicago Fire, making his season debut in the USL, and another great performance from a loanee from Chicago. As the Fire have struggled at the MLS level this year. They've replaced their goalkeeper over the offseason, but they are certainly not ruling out giving some minutes to Stephen Cleveland as the season progresses if he performs here in Tulsa. Here's a throw for Fresno. Arce trying to open up Rivas. He's had struggles trying to find his way into the game tonight. Joaquin Rivas had the 2 goals on the year coming in tonight for Tulsa. Arce. Shot blocked. And again, trying one from distance, Fernando Arce. He had Baccaro on the left wing. It's their first time playing together, of course. Baccaro making his USL debut, and a frustration there from Ugarte as Kaffa wins the ball back for Fresno. Fresno, Tulsa 1-1 here at the Chuck. Rivas, of course, had been the only guy to score this year for Tulsa before Paris G's header on that beautiful cross by John Baccaro to tie this game for the Tulsa Roughnecks, coming from behind to equalize in the 55th minute. Second game-tying goal for them this year. They have yet to win.
I was just going to say, I think it's positive as well for Tulsa. Arce has been playing well. He's finding little pockets of space. He's finding the ability to press the back line. It's just when you're getting into a season, the last thing to really develop usually is that attacking third mentality, and I think it's just a little bit off. Once it clicks for him, it's going to be really good.
Navarro throwing in from deep for Fresno. Lazaro's looking for a go-ahead goal. Cheney dropped down, nobody there on the other end of it. Tulsa looking to move out on the break. Big collision And Fresno get it going, but Chaney couldn't go after it. He was offside. And Cleveland tracks it down in front of the end line for the Roughnecks.
Looked like a gnarly collision there in the middle of the field. Made me cringe a little, but seems like everybody's back on their feet and okay.
Cleveland picks it up. 1-1 scoreline. Nearing halfway through this second half. Tulsa with the second half goal after the golazo from Ribeiro in the first half for Fresno. Evan Weston, Jordan Angeli with you from Chuck Chansey Park in the Central Valley of California. Merkovich. Arce pushing back to his center backs. Ugarte. Little overlapper for Hollinger Jansen. Nearly gave it away, and he did. Kaffa, he was not on the same page with Cesares there. They do have it, though. Barrera to Kaffa with space. Kaffa, grass cutter, save Cleveland.
And nasty little deflection there from Kaffa's shot, but I just love the way Barrera plays. He finds a little outside of the foot, slip ball in the seam to find Kaffa in some space. He's been fun to watch tonight. He's just all over the place, causing some good things to happen for Fresno.
This midfield overall, I think, for the Foxes is going to create a lot of good situations for them this year. Adam Smith wants to be very strong in the middle of the park. I think he's got the right idea with this group right now. And that's the one spot where they're mostly healthy.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah. Kaffa threw into Verhoeven, trying to spree up Barrera. Here's Ribeiro. Verhoeven again. Cooper. Bombs one in. Ugarte on the end of the header. Kaffa in the box. Kaffa slips. Nothing out of that one penalty-wise, and it's cleared comfortably by the Roughnecks.
Before the ball's crossed in, I'm trying to get people to pull out a little bit on the far post, because with this field, all of the crosses are going so much farther over. They're getting flicked on defensively. So that pocket of space at the back post is usually on. And if Kaffa would have waited a little bit farther out, I think he would have had a good opportunity off of that flick defensively from Tulsa.
Los Soros coming again after the Hollinger Jansen foul. Ribeiro playing deep. That's where he is, in that number 6 spot. For Fresno, he's been brilliant tonight, including the goal. Chaney couldn't control it. Christian Chaney has had some moments so far for Fresno, but that end product not quite there for him, as Tulsa look to advance. And a lot of space here in the middle for Arce. He's got an overlapper in Rivas. Rivas stops his run and then collects the ball on the far side. Rivas bombing one in to the outside for Baquero. Knocks it down, a lot of space. Montano driving in. Montano on the right foot, shot blocked. Moves its way towards the end line for a Tulsa corner.
Gotta love that from Baquero. The ball comes all the way over, switching the point of attack, and he just pops it back. A little back pass with the outside of his foot like it's no big deal. The poise and the confidence of the young players on both of these squads is pretty remarkable, and John Baquero showing that with that little layoff there.
Just the second corner of the match for Tulsa. Meanwhile, Fresno preparing 2 substitutions. We'll get the info on that as soon as we can. Here's the corner delivery. Bicycle shot high over the bar. Well, not a bad opportunity to try and equal Ribeiro and make your way onto the SportsCenter top 10. Here come the substitutions. The first is an offensive sub. Rodolfo Freitas da Silva of Brazil, who goes by his first name, Rodolfo. He's coming on for Agustin Cesares. And Rony Argueta, who had the game winner very late on against Oklahoma City in their last home game, will replace Verhoeven. And what a night for the teenager from Canada.
I thought he played a really good match. There was a couple of decisions in the final third. I think instead of playing to someone's feet, he could have gone over top, a little scoop over top of the back line. But all in all, he created the goal, he got the assist, and he was really instrumental in a lot of the attack for Fresno tonight.
So that's all the substitutions for Fresno. They sub Chaney in at halftime. Here is Cheney. Can't get it through to Kaffa. Here is Kaffa coming back on the other end of the ball. And a well-performed slide tackle by Jusino. Ronnie Argueta spent the last 3 years with Colorado Springs. Scored 4 times. He's already got the 1 goal we mentioned this year for Fresno. Is a foul on Fresno. That was Cheney. A game winner against the Energy in their last home match back on March the 31st. Their 1 home win in 3 this year. Cleveland to deliver it away. Which teams are hitting peak performance in the USL? Find out every Monday afternoon when USLsoccer.com power rankings are released to see where your team fits and ranks after its most recent results. Tulsa looking to move up here if they can grab 3 points. Both teams looking for a late winner. Holliger Jansen can't get on the other end of that back pass, and here come Fresno FC. Rodolfo playing forward. Barrera, who has switched over to the left here with Argueta coming in. This is Rodolfo, left foot shot high, and a goal kick for Cleveland.
That was a great pass, and I talk about Barrera on the other side. The whole back line for Tulsa are dropping. It's creating this little island of space in between their back line and their midfielders, and he found it beautifully from both sides. It doesn't matter where he is. Barrera's finding the seam, and Rodolfo there doing the best he can to try to get something on frame.
74th minute here in Fresno. How about this halftime score? Switchbacks ahead of Sacramento in Sacramento. 1-0 at the half. That's our USL Game of the Week, streaming live for free with your cable subscription on ESPN3. This game available out of the Fresno market on ESPN Plus, $4.99 a month. You get every USL game streaming live, as well as every out-of-market MLS game streaming live on ESPN Plus. There's so much more, tons of college sports. Really a great new service for a great low price from ESPN. Rivas going to get it through from Baquero, and then Holliger Jansen just takes another swing for the fences, and while he did clear the fence, again, that is not the goal here. It'll be a goal kick for Rainish. So it seems like both teams are really just trying to get as direct as possible at this point in the game, trying to grab those 3 points.
The game starts to tends to open up here towards the last 15, 20 minutes. So it doesn't surprise me that more gaps in the midfield, between the midfield and the back line, are opening up, and that's where you can counterattack quickly and try to find a front runner running in behind. So it doesn't surprise me. And both these teams want another win. Fresno wants to keep their streak alive of getting points. And yeah, they're still in that right now, but they want the win. They're at home. And then for Tulsa, it's their first, they're starting to find some rhythm here, right? They're coming from behind. They need a victory. They need a win.
They don't have one yet this year. 3 losses, 1 draw in their last fixture against Portland Timbers 2. That was 2 weeks ago. They've played a great second half. They've got 1. They're looking for a second. Here's Baquero, the top draft pick in MLS. Baquero driving forward. He's past one guy, accelerating towards Cooper. Cross on wide. It got deflected out for a Tulsa corner, and the Liverpool man, Cooper, keeping up with Baquero for the moment.
That was so good from Baquero. And going against a veteran like Ribeiro, he just shoulders him off, keeps him out of the way, gets to the end line. He wanted to get a shot off, but it was well defended in the end by Alex Cooper. But he earns a corner kick. This is just as good here.
Arce to deliver it. Tulsa looking for a go-ahead goal late. Arce on. It's headed off by Cheney, the forward, coming down for defense on the corner. Fresno looking for the break. They won't get it. Ball right back on to John Baquero. His cross deflected. Holliger Jansen in the middle, and Ribeiro deals with it. And here comes Rodolfo for Fresno. Rodolfo leaving it out wide. Barrera comes flying into the picture. Here's Cheney turning his way in on Merkovich. Cheney! Save Cleveland. Rebound! Goal! Fresno have the lead. It's Argueta again. The late sub makes the difference. The 27-year-old from Costa Mesa, California. Talk about a game-changing sub from Adam Smith. Could be his second match winner in as many games.
You could just watch him. He's at the top of the box. He's waiting, seeing what happens. That's the kind of shot you need, low, hard, in the mix. It gives Argueta a chance to get on the end of the deflection. It's a good turn. And Cheney has been doing this since he got in. He's creating opportunities, and then it's just easy for Argueta, but that's exactly what you need to do. Follow up the play, and it's as easy as that when you do that. Just place it in the back of the net.
The California kid joins Johnson and Kaffa with 2 goals apiece for Fresno. Both of them late on in the final 15 minutes. Both of them at home. Both of them to give Los Oros a 2-1 lead. The California kid does it again. He spent the last 3 years in Colorado, but he's a California guy. He went to UCSB, was recruited to their Division I team, but didn't make the team, Jordan. He was on the club team his entire time there. Went to a PDL game for Ventura County, talked to the coach, and said, I'm going to be a professional soccer player. They brought him on. They gave him a shot. Colorado Springs signed him the next year. He's been in the USL for 4 seasons and now making a huge impression here with Fresno.
Those are the stories that you just love as a spectator, as someone who just loves sport, because, you know, things don't always fall in your favor, right? They don't go exactly the way that you want, but when there's a love, when there's a passion, and there's a real drive to get better and make a name for yourself, you figure it out. And Argueta, man, coming up big, not only once, twice already this early season for Fresno, and he gets to cheer and celebrate in front of the supporters. How fun is that for him?
The Fire Squad bringing Fresno on. They've now led for more than 26 minutes in the game, which we talked about earlier. That was as long as they had been. We got a substitution for Tulsa. Enrique Montano is going to come out. They're going to bring in a midfielder for a left back. Michael Binns, the 29-year-old Jamaican international who was suspended for the last match against Portland. He hasn't played since the end of March when he was sent off against Orange County SC. He will come on for Tulsa at the next opportunity. They do have one more sub in reserve. Foul on Cheney for Fresno, and here comes Michael Binns for Enrique Montano. They're going to restart and opt not to bring the substitute in just yet. Arce gets past Ribeiro, but the ball too long and played right back. Rodolfo settles it down for Barrera on the outside. Cooper overlapping. And here come Fresno FC again. Barrera, he's been so electric tonight. Intercepted. Munoz to Arce. Merkovic. Arce again, one touch. Foul, no. And there's a very late whistle by David Barry. And now the pushing and shoving in the center circle. It's been so clean, but it's been building, and now things breaking down between Fresno and Tulsa. And Barry's got to get control of this. Frustration's boiling over. And David Barry seems content to let the two teams settle things between themselves as the leaders start to get things separated. It looks like Arce and Cheney were the two guys who were really mixing it up. And we'll see what kind of discipline is. There's a red card out in the hand of David Barry. And it's being shown to Ramon Martin Del Campo of Fresno. And if they're going to kill this game off, they're going to do it a man down.
And
we've got a yellow card for Argueta as well.
And Argueta was the original foul on Arce, and it was the retaliation from Del Campo. I saw him swing at somebody during that shuffle there, and you know that's just where, and that's a foul. That's a bad tackle. You leave your feet, and there's another bad tackle.
You could have sent off Argueta, and then the shove from behind by Arce. We could try to find Del Campo in the ensuing scrum, but yeah, there's two hard fouls by Argueta. Arce shoves him from behind. And then it's Ramon Martin Del Campo, you said, Jordan, took a swing, and he has been sent off. So Fresno are playing with 10 men for the rest of the match. Tulsa, I wonder, are they arguing for 2 red cards here?
I think so. I mean, that was the second tackle there. The thing is, the tackles from Argueta, he leaves his feet both times. I think the referee only caught the second one. That's what he got the yellow card for, but that's just, you know, the reason you give somebody a yellow, give somebody a red is because they're endangering other people, and that was those were dangerous tackles.
Well, what about the mentality, Jordan, of doing that 3 minutes after you scored a potential match winner?
Well, it's...
Are you just, is it the adrenaline?
There's so much adrenaline. You know, it happened to me multiple times when I was playing. I'd score a goal and I'd get a yellow card. It was almost like given that was going to happen because it's hard to get your emotions back down and in check. And we saw that afterwards too, right? Emotions overflow. Both teams are at each other, and Kafa's in there pulling people out, trying to make sure that his team doesn't get in trouble. But maybe a little too late there as Del Campo earned a red card and sent off.
Well, how about this? It's 10-on-10, Jordan. We didn't catch it, but Munoz has also been sent off for Tulsa. So Claudio Munoz has been sent off for the Roughnecks. We are playing 10-on-10 football the rest of the way here at the Chuck. Munoz sent off for the Roughnecks. Both teams losing a center back. Del Campo sent off, as you see, for Fresno, and Argueta gets a yellow card. That's our first discipline of the match. We are 10-on-10 the rest of the way. Tulsa have a sub remaining. Fresno do not. And Fresno do have a center back playing right back, so they can flex Navarro over if they so choose. And it looks like Tulsa did make the sub. Binns is on for Montano here. They do still have 1 remaining.
And that's the 4th red card for Tulsa in their short season. It's been difficult for them, and that discipline factor is hard. It has to be an off the ball, after the play foul, and those are the little moments that you could have been up a man. You could have been up a man with a chance to get back in the game again, and then, you know, a disciplinary thing, you don't stay focused in the moment, and you put your team back at a man-to-man, you know, 10-on-10.
Yeah, no question. It's just been that kind of season so far for Tulsa, and there's plenty of time to turn this around. We now play a 34-game season in the USL, same as MLS. It's a long year. This is just game 5, but you're right, 4 red cards, and they had a chance, you're right, to go a man up with Del Campo and Munoz after the fact. Again, we can't comment on what he did. We didn't see it, but clearly in that big scrum, David Barry coming down hard on both of these teams. And you got to like that from an official, that you're not going to put up with that sort of thing.
And it's really ironic because all game long, really, we talked about how clean this match was. And then it was like one moment everybody literally saw red. Like red cards were given, but red, like they just went black and kind of blacked out and went crazy there.
Here's the final substitution for Tulsa. They're going to bring on a new center forward. Arce, who's had a frustrating night and very easily could have been given discipline for that shove in the back of Argueta. He is out. John Perez, the 25-year-old Uruguayan, has come in. He's a Chelsea youth product, was at Stamford Bridge for 7 years, but never broke through to the first team there for Chelsea, mostly under Jose Mourinho in his time there at the Blues. But he spent most of his time on loan with Leganes and Getafe B in the Spanish Segunda Division. Ended up back in Uruguay last year and then did not play in 2017. He's making his United States debut this year, making his 4th appearance for the Roughnecks. So Perez, a straight-up swap of center forwards. Perez with a little bit more size than Arce, and maybe looking for someone that's just a bit more direct to goal. The tandem near 2 number 9s on with him and John Baquero.
The one thing I'm really interested in is...
And we've got more discipline here. Sorry to cut you off, Jordan, but this continues to go. We have a yellow card here on Fresno, and that will go against Beto Navarro, I believe. Or check that, it'll be Merkovich for Tulsa, we're hearing. So more discipline going on.
Well, that was going to be my point, is when your emotions get going. You have to settle back down. For Fresno, you're still winning this match. For Tulsa, you need to come back and get a goal here, but you got to get your emotions in check. You can't live on the edge, continue to live on the edge here and creating fouls and getting yellow cards and stopping the play. You need the ball in play if you want to come back here.
You see how open this is, 10-on-10. Cheney getting in behind. He's offside. And a frustrating smack into the end board by Christian Cheney. You see both teams playing with 10 men. Fresno and Tulsa, the Foxes with a lead, and they're just trying to see this out. 10-on-10 here at home. I can imagine there will be a good bit of added time as well.
Yeah.
We will find that out, I would imagine, at least 4 minutes, if not more, here at the end of the second half. Here's Rodolfo. Kaffa slips, and a decent-looking opportunity there for Fresno goes by the wayside. Jusino moving up to play on the attack here. The center back, Jusino, has been moved up the pitch by David Vaudreuil. Meanwhile, that's left quite a bit of space at the back here. Threading through, Cheney to kill it off, misses high. Christian Cheney just a little bit over the bar.
Those are those moments where you find yourself in and you pick your chest and your head up a little bit too quickly. The ball goes up and over the post. A short little swing, keeping your body over it, keeps it a lot lower on frame, and Cheney is going to be disappointed with that effort.
Circle it on your calendars, folks, by the way. This game is rematched in Tulsa on July 28th as Daly turns away a cross into the box. It's an 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific start, 7:30 local time in Oklahoma. Offside called in the box. And again, when you're a new franchise like Fresno, you're looking for rivals. You would think Orange County might be a natural rival, but hey, you know, Tulsa, they've already got the derby in Oklahoma with the energy. Perhaps a first-time matchup. This has had quite a bit of tension down the stretch between these two sides.
Yeah, I think for any team early on in the season, you're playing a new organization. You're going to try to come and, you know, especially a team that's 4 straight, you know, they've gotten a point in 4 straight games. Excuse me. You're going to try to fix that, try to get a goal or a win. So maybe we have a rivalry going.
Only 3 minutes in added time here, Jordan. Bit of a break for Fresno. I thought with that big scrum we would get 4 or 5, but it's only going to be 3. And we've got a Fresno player down. And
yeah, that might add some time.
That could add a little bit to it, no question. You see the 4th official teeing it up. Now, if someone is down, the referee is supposed to count that off as part of the added time. So it might end up being realistically more like 4 minutes here. That's Ribeiro, who we did see was down earlier with that right leg, and it looks like it's given him some trouble again.
I was thinking about
that.
So
this doesn't look like a time-wasting player going down here. Ribeiro had trouble with that right leg earlier. Can't wait to show you that goal again. It was absolutely phenomenal. And now they're going to add a 4th minute. So it was originally going to be 3. It is now 4 with Ribeiro down here. It'll be 4 minutes of added time, and it might be more than that. As you see, just watch our clock here. Again, they probably won't start counting the 4 until we get going here, but that's always touchy. It could be anywhere from 94 to 95, 96 even here.
And Ribeiro, he took that knock, but also defensively, the amount of work he had to play with the free flow of the other 2 players in there with him, it made him have to work a little bit harder defensively. So I'm not surprised that he's getting a little calf cramp here, especially with that knock as well.
Tulsa with maybe 1 or 2 chances left in this game. Rodolfo for Fresno. All hands on deck defensively for Los Zorros. Cleared forward for Cheney. He can't quite slip around Ugarte. Long ball played out. It'll be a goal kick for Rainish. Rainish to kick it away, and he's going to take all the time he wants here.
Yeah, that spot on the near side of the 6 wasn't good enough, so I'm just going to go over here, put the ball down over here. It's about 10 seconds, I would say.
That sunset's still going, right? It looks nice. Maybe get a view of it from right field.
Right. More air to breathe over here. I don't know. Whatever it is.
Tonight's attendance,
3,000. Rainish delivers it away. It's immediately picked up by Tulsa. Here they come. And you got to be thinking they're looking for Vaquero here to try and make something happen for them at the end of the game. He's pressuring Daly, and Mickey Daly gets it away. They'll play it to the back again. We're playing 10-on-10 here at the end. A scrum at midfield in the 81st minute. Both Del Campo for Fresno and Munoz for Tulsa sent off. Into the box, headed away. Hollinger Jansen looking to get on top of it. Long shot from distance and not even close. Rainish with another goal kick. And maybe one more chance left in the game for Tulsa.
Yeah, Tulsa's got to keep the ball in bounds. They've got to take advantage of the time and their opportunities here. But if you're Fresno, you cannot lose anything short. Everything has to be high, wide, kick it out of bounds if you need to, reorganize, get numbers behind the ball to keep your lead and knock some seconds off the clock.
Rodolfo for Fresno, and the farther he can take this up, the more time he can grind off the clock. They got a foul on Rodolfo. Or did they just...
And he got a card for kicking the ball away.
Oh, wow, yeah, he did. So a time-wasting card for Rodolfo Freitas da Silva from Brazil. His first discipline of the match. 5 cards in the last 15 minutes here.
It escalated quickly.
Into the box again. Daly didn't get all of this. Here's some space for G, who scored the first for Tulsa. Little back heel. Hollinger Jansen, save Rainish. There was a chance left for the Roughnecks. A beautiful back heel to set up Fleming Hollinger Jansen for a potential point rescuer, but it doesn't happen. And Rainish boots it away. Tulsa trying to stay on it. And it's cleared by the Foxes, and they may have a victory in hand.
And for me, that's all on a silly play on the other end by Rodolfo. He earns the free kick for Tulsa, and then Hollinger Jansen gets a shot on goal, and that's just a quick transition from the yellow card to where Tulsa was trying to make anything happen.
Maybe one more chance. Back heel, Vaquero! Oh my goodness!
Tulsa Roughnecks tie the game in stoppage time.
John Vaquero! The future star has announced his arrival in professional soccer.
And that little flick he gets there, Vaquero's in. It's a meg between the goalie's legs as Cleveland comes out. Excuse me, Rainish comes out. He just tucks it in the back of the net. That is cool, calm, collected by Vaquero. We knew he was going to have a huge entrance. He doesn't disappoint with his first minutes here in USL.
He grew up in the shadow of his famous father, Jose Maria Vaquero, the Barcelona superstar. He couldn't find game time in Spain. He said he didn't want to do it the way his father did it. He didn't want things handed to him. He came to the U.S. to blaze his own path. He became the best player in college soccer at Wake Forest. He made his MLS debut over the weekend. And now tonight, he has earned a point for the Tulsa Roughnecks here in the Central Valley in California.
And it all happened so quickly. I think it might have been Rivas with that little flick. He was the first player, and then someone else just outside of the foot flick to keep the ball going forward, allow Vaquero to time it correctly, get in behind, and then it was all up to Vaquero, right? You're one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Are you going to step up in those big moments? And this is a guy who steps up time and time again, isn't shy of the spotlight. And right here, he saves his team from losing some more points.
And he deflects the attempted long ball off the restart. Full time. John Vaquero, the hero for Tulsa. He saves a point with a late stoppage time equalizer. Catch your breath, Jordan. What a match. The golazo from Ribeiro goes to waste for Fresno. They get what they thought was a game winner from Argueta. the scrum to lose a man on both sides, and then Ribeiro, who had the assist on the opener, announces himself with a goal, nutmegging Kyle Rainish to grab a point for Tulsa.
You get a goal, an assist first, and then a goal. This is just a phenomenal performance by Ribeiro.
Los Zorros take on San Antonio FC on Sunday, April 22nd here at Chansey Park. For ticket information, stop by the courtesy booth.
What a performance by both teams. So much heart put into this one. An absolutely incredible game, and it ends 2-2. Tonight's man of the match, presented by El Mexicano, Pedro Ribeiro. You would forget it from this, but how could you?
You can't.
An unbelievable goal.
This is beautiful, unstoppable. Golazo, as you said, touches it out with his left foot and then just buries it. And it wasn't just that. I mean, that's enough. But his performance all night, Ribeiro was solid defensively, helping his team stay in it for the majority of the match. And it was really at the end when it was difficult for him to run because of the calf, because of what happened earlier in the game, some cramping. You know, when he stopped playing defensively is really when Tulsa had that opportunity towards the end of the game.
You know, Ribeiro, you see him favoring that right leg. What a performance. Both teams with an unbelievable display here at Chansey Park tonight. Your final score, Fresno FC 2, Tulsa Roughnecks 2. When we come back, we'll have the highlights from this one, and boy, they are a doozy. We'll get you all caught up on the action here at the Chuck. They share the spoils tonight in the Central Valley. Chansey Park, the site of a ridiculous game tonight between Fresno FC and Tulsa Roughnecks, and deservedly the two teams share the spoils. A 2-2 final score. You see Juan Pablo Cafa signing for the kids here who have stayed with the Foxes. A disappointing result for the home crowd, a stoppage time equalizer for Tulsa. Let's show you how it all happened. A crazy game that started with one of the best goals you'll ever see.
It was phenomenal. A good first touch to get it off of his foot, and then Ribeiro. Oh my goodness. It just doesn't get old. I love this angle. You can see how quickly it flies off of his foot to find the far post. Nearly, our cameraman had to do a good job there to keep it in the frame.
Look at how tight the angle is here. Cleveland gets so close to it.
It was beautiful, and I would be that jazzed too, that excited if I just hit that ball too.
That was in the 27th minute. Let's take you to the 55th. John Vaccaro, the 5th overall pick in MLS draft this year, came on at halftime. He totally changed this game. What a ball to Paris G to level us at 1.
It's the composure on the ball. He could have had a shot. He spins away from the defender, and then the placement on this far post ball, but the chip to the back post on the header is beautiful.
And this was what we thought was the game winner for Los Zorros. A shot deflected by Cheney, and then Argueta there for the rebound off of Cleveland. Ronnie Argueta thought he had a second match winner in as many home matches for Fresno.
And Cheney does what he needs to do, and Argueta was the 3rd closest player to the net. He beat everybody there, got it in the back of the goal.
And then this scrum caused by this double challenge by Argueta. Huge hit from behind. 2 men were sent off after this fight, 1 on each side. The open game led to this. A great little flick forward, and John Vaccaro in the 94th minute rescues a point for Tulsa.
And there wasn't a lot of space to get in behind, but he times his run perfectly, and Vaccaro is able to just place it in the back of the net. A beautiful goal to tie it up at the end of the game.
And look how even this game was, Jordan. You cannot say the points were not shared properly tonight.
Yeah, it was back and forth from the beginning, even the first 15 minutes, you know, no goals in that time, but one team possessing, then the other team possessing. We saw some good quality goals from all different types of ways tonight. It was a fun match to be a part of, and I think you're right. I think both teams deserve to go home with a point.
Absolutely tremendous action. Just, I mean, in the last 20 minutes, the Argueta goal, the scrum that saw 2 men sent off, and then Rodolfo with that late yellow card after kicking the ball away for time wasting. That kind of got Tulsa back on the ball, and it set up the extra bit of time that allowed Vaccaro to score literally at the death.
And it's those moments of just discipline late in a match that you kick a ball away, you don't think anything of it, but then it transfers momentum, and that momentum was picked up by Tulsa, and they punished them at the end. Vaccaro with his first goal in USL.
A Fresno fiasco tonight for the Foxes. However, the good news is they have a chance to get right back on it against San Antonio FC. That is Sunday at 6 p.m. local time at Chuck Chansey Park. And again, locally in Fresno, all of these games available on local television. Those are the places to watch them. If you're out of market, don't worry. ESPN Plus has everything streaming, every single game this year, $4.99 a month to sign up. You get every out-of-market USL and MLS game streamed live. That'll do it for us here from Chuck Chansey Park after a wild match that sees the points shared between Tulsa and Fresno, a 2-2 final at full time. For my broadcast colleague Jordan Angeli, my producer Ryan Rose, and our hardworking crew, my name is Evan Weston, signing off. Again, one more time, Fresno FC 2, Tulsa Roughnecks 2, your final. Good night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.